Former President Donald Trump, in his conversation with Elon Musk, came out heavily against his Democrat rival Kamala Harris. He attacked President Joe Biden for allowing massive immigration in the U.S. He accused Kamala Harris for copying his agenda, like no tax on tips. He also said that Kamala Harris was not trying to speak on illegal immigration. That was never her agenda for the last 3.5 years. Speaking on the bid to assassinate him, he said that it was just a miracle that he is alive. Trump, in his free-flowing interview with Musk, said Putin was his good friend. Trump also said that there would have been no war between Russia and Ukraine had he been the president. Trump also claimed that Hamas would not have dared and there would have not been war with Israel if he were at the White House. All right, Nick Harper joins us from Washington, D.C. Nick, good morning. Now, we've just given a broad outline of the interview of Donald Trump with Elon Musk, where he seems very confident that had he been the president, things would have been different geopolitically. Get us more highlights of the interview.
Yeah, plenty in the course of this now nearly hour-long conversation between the two of them. Elon Musk making it clear at the very beginning that this was not an interview, rather it was a conversation. And just bear in mind that these two are politically aligned. It's not as if this is an impartial interviewer probing him with questions. It's more an opportunity for Elon Musk to allow Donald Trump to speak and to speak to potentially more than 1 million people who the X currently says are tuned in and listening to this. We've heard many things from Donald Trump so far. Many of them are similar refrains to the type of things that he says during rallies, very typical to his stump speech that he makes at those events. He spent about 20 minutes or so speaking about that assassination attempt. That's after they talked about the delay, the technical issues. Some suggestion at one point that they made was that the Democrats were behind the attack to try and silence Donald Trump from being able to hold this. He's also spoken about immigration, warning that if the Democrats get in again, there won't be a country, suggesting that as many as 50 to 60 million people from right around the world would be allowed into the United States, and saying that many of them are criminals or mentally impaired and not able to get here. Instead, they are shipped here by governments of different countries. Plenty of claims there that seem to be unfounded. He's not suggesting any evidence to back it up. But yes, he also spoke about foreign policy and made it clear in what he said that he has good relationships with people like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un of North Korea, and saying that those conflicts that are currently happening around the world would not have been taking place if he'd won the 2020 election instead of Joe Biden.
All right, Nick, also get us more on this DDoS attack, or the DOS attack, which led to a temporary pause or temporary halt, in the interview. Get us more on that, because this is said that, some bad players can hinder the online platform. So get us more on this. What kind of an attack? How serious or grave was this attack, the cyber attack?
Well, yes, it significantly hindered the ability for this to happen. It was about 36 minutes before it was able to get started. I was trying to log on during that time. I was being hit with a page that simply said that this space was not available. There was an emoji of a monkey with its head in its hands. And that was the experience for hundreds of thousands of others who were trying to get online. Now, Elon Musk is saying that it was a DDoS attack. There isn't so far any evidence that they've put forward to prove that this was definitely the case, but saying that it was a massive DDoS attack, a type of cyber attack that attempts to disrupt traffic to a platform, also saying that they were working to shut it down. It took them about 35 minutes or so to get things under control. But Elon Musk also said that he had done rigorous testing in recent days to ensure something like this didn't happen with technical glitches of this kind, saying that they tested with as many as 8 million concurrent listeners, but still huge glitches during the course of this evening, not the type of glitches that either man were hoping to have, but of course, because that is of course now dominating the headlines rather than the conversation itself. Many of the headlines being written up now are all about those technical difficulties that X faced.
All right, Nick, now this interview comes at a time when Kamala Harris was leading Donald Trump in 3 of the important states. And also in this interview, we heard Donald Trump speak his heart out on various issues. concerning US and rest of the world as well. Let us get more from you. How do you analyze, or for that matter, how do you gauge the significance of this interview, and how far will it help Trump in the presidential race in wooing the voters?
Well, I guess the hope is for Donald Trump that this gets him into a social media space where he's been struggling in. That's a space that Kamala Harris has been doing particularly well in the just over 3 weeks since she took over from Joe Biden. The youth movement around her, her campaign, is very well plugged into the online space, creating viral memes on her behalf. Donald Trump has struggled there, so the hope is that this propels him into a social media space where he has been lagging recently. Elon Musk also said at the beginning of this conversation he hoped that it would get out there to open-minded, independent voters right across the United States to be able to hear what Donald Trump has to say, because it is coming at a perilous time for the former president. Polls over the weekend showed a complete flip in polling in those important swing states. Just 3 or so weeks ago, when Joe Biden was against Donald Trump, Biden was trailing Trump. Now Trump is trailing Harris by as much as about 4 percentage points in states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, states that will potentially decide this election. And remember as well that Harris has done very well with fundraising in recent weeks as a result of this momentum in the Democratic Party. Trump is hoping that this conversation, this online event tonight, will help to get him fundraising. And there are fundraising adverts being promoted on X as part of this listening experience.
All right, Nick, we'll leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details.